Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Dylan and this one is slightly different, okay? It's still to do with our learning, our logical thinking, our reasoning, but it's also to do with a TV quiz show. Now you may have heard of the 1% Club. It's on ITV, it's hosted by Lee Mack. It's an amazing show because it's a real leveler. It's not just about general knowledge, it's about logical thinking, thinking outside of the box, try and get to an answer quickly because there's also a 30-second timer. So what I've done, I've been inspired. This was the 1% question recently, which is the hardest question only 1% of the population can work out. And it stumped so many people. So I'm going to be explaining the answer to this question at the end. I've got 6 in total, and I want to see how you get on yourself. Then I'll show you how to answer them. So let's come back to this one later because it is the one causing the most controversy at the minute. It's very tricky indeed. But the first question I found, I mean, they're all hard, is this one. What 4-word phrase can you get if you keep everything below but remove 2 letters in order? Pause the video, give yourself 30 seconds. I'll explain it after. And here's our first example of how we need to think outside of the box. So you read 2 letters in order and you think, well, I can't take only 2 letters out of this. I mean, that makes no sense at all. It would be gibberish. Well, look at actually what it's asking you to do. The words 2 letters. You've got to take out every single letter in those 2 words. So we've got T, W, O, L, E, T, T, E, R, S. And then what's left is I, am, A, W, I, N, N, E, R, because this was another 1% question. If you solved this, you were the winner. Amazing if you managed to find that. Just goes to show how these questions are not just about what you know, it's about your logical thinking as well. Did you spot that one? Let's try another one. What word are you left with if you debug this line of code? Again, think like last time. What could be the underlying clue in the question if you debug this line of code? Give yourself 30 seconds, see if you can get it. Okay, and the trick here is in the word debug. You want to get rid of bugs. If you're looking at computer code, that can be something that doesn't quite make sense or doesn't work. It takes a long time to solve. We've got 30 seconds here. We literally mean bugs. Okay, let me show you. An ant is a bug. Get rid of that bug. A flea is a bug. Get rid of that bug. See where this is going? A beetle is a type of bug. Get rid of it. And then finally, a tick, another type of bug. So thinking outside of the box, what does bug mean as well as just trying to fix computer codes? And what's left with is V-I-C-T-O-R-Y. Again, this was a 1% question. If you solved this, victory was yours. Well done if you managed to spot this one. But you can see how the 1% Club really does mold its questions so anyone can answer it. It's not just about the knowledge you have, it's about your logical thinking as well. Out of 2, what are you on so far? Let us know down in the comments. Next one, third question. Logically, which letter comes next in this sequence? This is a really tricky one. It's kind of different to the first 2 questions, but you still have to think outside of the box. What letter would come next? Give yourself 30 seconds. I think one of the trickiest thing with the 1% Club is that 30-second timer. It really does cause a bit of mayhem, a bit of worry. And if you had a bit longer, some more people may be able to solve them. But let's take a look at this one. S-U-M-O-T-U-W-E-T-H-F-R-S. Well, if I told you the last letter was an A, did you get A? Well, here's why. These letters are actually coming in pairs. Let me show you. I'm going to circle the first pair, S-U. What might S-U stand for? Well, what might it be followed by with M-O? Why? S-U, M-O. Do you get it yet? T-U. These are days of the week. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The last one was Saturday. You only got the S, so the missing letter was the A. Well done if you managed to spot that. My goodness, that was a really tricky one. Same kind of idea now with the 4th question. It's got a bunch of arrows. Look at the images and follow the directions. That's a really big hint. Follow the directions. That's all I'll say. What 9-letter word is represented by this image? What could it be? Give yourself 30 seconds. Can you spot it? And I'll tell you how to solve it after. Okay, you're looking here, you're going down, left, right, right. I mean, you're never going to get anywhere thinking like that. The way you need to think is a compass. Now, this comes up a lot in the 1% Club. Think of a compass point, north, east, south, and west. But where's this first arrow pointing? It's pointing south. So I'm going to use an S for that. This one here, it's pointing west. And then these two are pointing right, which on the compass is E, E. Now, we're given T because that's not a letter on our compass points, so we need that. Let's bring that down. Sweet. I mean, it's looking good so far. This looks like a real word. N is going to be pointing up for north. E is going to be pointing right for east, and then south twice. Yes, we have a word. Sweetness is the word you will get. That is represented by this image. My goodness me. You really have to have 2 or 3 trains of thought just to answer one of these 1% questions. Let's try another one then. We've got 2 left. Out of 4, what are you on? This is your 5th one. What letter pair could squeeze into the same position inside each of these words to make longer words? Which letter pair could it be? Have a go. Okay, this is a really, really tricky one. So in juice, where inside here could you put 2 letters to make a brand new word? And the answer is after J-U, but before I-C-E. Can you see it yet? And the trick here is this makes an oos sound. It does not make that same sound once you add these letters in. That's why it's really tricky. Peering. Okay. Well, after P-E, after the first 2 letters, and then we have the E-R-I-N-G. Again, this is tricky because it's breaking up the E sound. With the 2 letters inside, that sound completely changes. That's what throws a lot of people off. When they look at peering, well, you'll see in a minute, when we put our pair of letters in, it completely changes how those letters sound when we say them. And last one here, J-E, after the first 2, that's what it means by in the same place, after the first 2 letters each time, with E-R at the end. Have you spotted it yet? What it is? What it could be? Well, the letter pair are S and T. Justice, pestering, and jester. Now you can see, not only have you got to try and figure out what those words could be and how it's the same letters every time, but it completely changes the sound of the letters in the word in the first place. Juice becomes justice, sounds nothing alike. Peering becomes pestering. The ear becomes Esther. That's tricky. And again here, look, the double E is being broken up to make an eh sound. Instead of an E for jeer, we have an eh sound for jester. That's why it's really hard. Now, out of 5, how many have you got? We're going to go on to what inspired this video now, the most recent 1% question that had so many people scratching their heads, because there's a really, what seems like an obvious answer that lots of people went for, that is wrong. I'm going to read it to you, then I'm going to set the pause timer for 30 seconds for you guys. In a room of 100 people, 99% are left-handed. How many left-handed people have to leave the room to bring that percentage down to 98%? Well, you've got 30 seconds. This is your 1% question. This was for someone to win £97,000. Can you get the right answer in less than 30 seconds? This is an amazing question because it leads so many people down the wrong path. To go from 99% to 98% when there's 100 people in the room, you would logically think, well, one person, right? One person leaves because it goes from 99 to 98%. Let me show you why that's wrong. 99% of the people in the room are left-handed. So that's 99 out of 100. Okay, cool. That makes sense. If one person left, we now have 98 people who are left-handed. This looks fantastic because I want 98%. But here's the problem. If one person has left the room, there's no longer 100 people in that room. The denominator is now 99. So this fraction here is not 98%. For it to be 98%, it would have to be 98 out of 100. So we have to flip this question over and think, oh my gosh, I want 98%. Okay, cool. Well, how many people is that going to be that have to be left-handed if there's only one right-handed person in the room? Well, the first thing you can do is write down 98% of what it would look like as a fraction, which is 98 out of 100. That's what we need to try and get. But here's the problem. We'll never get it out of 100 because there are no longer 100 people in the room as soon as one person leaves. So let's use our equivalent fraction knowledge and think, okay, what if it was out of 50? If I've divided 100 by 2, I end up with out of 50 people. And I have to do the same to the numerator to maintain equivalence in my fractions. 98 divided by 2 is 49. Aha. So if I can get the fraction to be 49 out of 50, then that is 98%. And this is where minds have been blown with this question. Because to get from 99 left-handers out of 100 in total, you have to have 50 people leave the room who are left-handers. How does that work? Well, let me show you. 99 take away 50 is 49. And there's no longer 100 people in the room because 50 have left. So it's out of 50. And there we have our 49 out of 50. So to summarize this question, to go from 99% of people being left-handed in a room of 100 down to 98% of people, 50 have to leave. More than half of the left-handed people have to leave the room just to budget by 1%. My goodness, what an amazing question. And we can see here, there's the proof. It's completely counterintuitive. And this is why the timer plays such an important part in this game show. Because with less than 30 seconds, we panic, we go for what looks like an obvious answer. But really, if we apply the mathematics to the situation, it's 50 people having to leave. Guys, out of 6 questions I just gave you, the hardest questions I could find at the 1% Club, how many did you get right? Let me know down in the comments. Subscribe for more videos in the future, and I'll see you next time for another video.